of people thought that there were going to be more failures, and there's some talk about why there weren't more, and there was an article in the American Banker maybe last week about that. And one of the reasons is likely the TARP program and the funding that provided to enable some healthy banks to buy banks that might not have otherwise survived, like the PNC National City transaction, for example, comes to mind. Also, frankly, the FDIC has been managing the pace of the failures to the extent it possibly can for a couple of reasons. I mean, they don't want to create a panic, and also, frankly, they found themselves to be a bit understaffed for this crisis. So there's only so much that an agency can do at one time. So I think the important thing is that, unfortunately, we're likely to see more failures, especially, I would imagine, this quarter, because the bank failures seem to lag the rest of the business cycle a little bit. There also has been a fair amount of publicity about the problem bank list, and sometimes it's called the troubled bank list, which is a list that the FDIC maintains and updates quarterly of banks that are essentially in trouble. And in this context, in trouble means if they've been examined and they received a 4 or a 5 rating. And the ratings are based on what they're calling the composite CAMELS rating, which has to do with capital adequacy, asset quality, management, earnings, liquidity, and market sensitivity. So that's how they got that unfortunate acronym. And so if you get a 4 or 5 rating, you go on the troubled banks list. And you see in the press, oh, the troubled banks list is up 46% from the previous quarter. And it is, I mean, it's an important indicator, but for one thing, it's not public, because for obvious reasons, if they listed all the troubled banks, then there'd be runs on them, and that would make them more than just troubled. But I think it is worth noting that right now there are in the neighborhood of 171 troubled banks on the list, which is a big increase. So it's something that I think that the press likes to hang on to, and it's an interesting indicator, but it's certainly not dispositive, because, for example, IndyMac was not on the troubled bank list 6 months before it failed. WAMU never went on it, and Citi never went on it. So I think it's a decent indicator for smaller and mid-sized banks of what the health of the banking community is.